Hey guys, it's Lisa from Turning Pages, and I'm doing a second video today reviewing the Chemical Garden Trilogy. I did make another video today with these clothes on and everything else. You won't be seeing this video until a few days later, so the other video, my book haul, is already posted, so you can go ahead and check that out. I'll definitely link it down below. I'm not sure how this video reviewing will really work out, so I'm still like working on the little details of the entire thing. And yeah, I don't really want to review a single book in one video because I feel like it's kind of gonna be boring maybe. So I want to review like an entire trilogy or duology or maybe like a series or something like that, but I haven't really worked out the details just yet. So just for right now, it'll be the entire trilogy, and yeah, I hope you enjoy it. The first book in the Chemical Gardens trilogy is Wither. Looks like that. The second book in the Chemical Garden trilogy is Fever. That one looks like that. And the third and final book in this trilogy is called Sever, and it looks like that. All three of these books have such beautiful covers, first of all, and each one of them like has such like detailed meanings. So here's the girl, then there's her ring right there, then there's this cage bird. And each of these things like represents an element inside of the story. Then here we have, again, we have the ring, and then we have a photograph. And then the last one, we have the bird, and it's not in the cage anymore. And we have, where is it? We have the ring, and she took it off. She's not wearing it anymore. So the covers just represent so much of the story, and I really like that. I like that they're so detailed, and they are like completely different than any other cover that I've like seen, and I just think they're really, really interesting. So the Chemical Garden trilogy takes place in the future in more of a dystopian kind of era, and it revolves around, or it follows the story of a girl. Her name is Rhine. She has one blue eye and one green eye, and she lives in this world where people basically die at a really, really young age. Back in the past, the first generation created this kind of serum or kind of medicine that basically cured any and all diseases. People didn't die. People stayed alive for years and years and years, over 100 years old. But when these people were having kids and were producing the next generation, they realized that girls were dying at the age of 20 and guys were dying at the age of 25. This continued to happen, and people weren't really sure why or how to prevent it from happening. The older people that are from like the first generation, they're called the first generation. They're usually these really, really old people, and they're all like extremely rich. Girls in this time are actually being kidnapped and sold into marriages, which I didn't really understand in the first book, because these kids basically live on their own, basically are surviving every day and basically scavenging every day just to survive. So I don't understand why they have to kidnap people to get them to marry, or kidnap girls to get them to marry somebody who has money and who has a home and who has food. But I guess that's how it works. And Ryan is one of these girls that gets snatched off the road. When she gets into this van, there's a lot of other girls in the van. She doesn't really know what really happens to these girls or what's really going to happen. She thinks all these girls are being taken and being sold into marriage. But not every girl was selected and chosen. They actually divided these girls up, and the girls that were chosen were put back into the van, and I think the girls that weren't chosen were actually shot, which I don't understand either, because the population is dwindling and people are dying constantly, and someone will probably want to marry one of those girls whether or not they're rich or whatever. So that was a little confusing for me, but definitely very interesting. Have never seen anything like that, never heard anything like that, thought it was a whole new concept. Bomb. Okay, so Ryan is sold to this guy. His name is Van. He's this old first generation dude, and he has a son. His name is Lyndon. Rich, they live in a big mansion. She gets her whole like own room. She's always fed. She has brand new clothes. But Lyndon isn't only marrying Ryan. Lyndon also already has another wife. Her name is Rose. But from the van, there's actually another girl picked. Her name is Cecily. She's only 14. And there's a girl named Jenna, who I think is 19 or almost 20. So Ryan actually has 3 sister wives in this first book, which is crazy. Not only is she kidnapped from her brother is now living on his own. He doesn't even know that she's been kidnapped or where she's been taken, who took her. She's forced to marry this man along with 2 other girls that were just taken as well. And she's basically stuck on a single floor of this mansion and there's no way out. While Lyndon like generally loves Ryan and the other girls, he doesn't actually know how his dad got these girls or where they came from or what has happened to him. He's completely oblivious to most of it, and which is actually really shocking because where do you think these girls came from? Do you think they just, oh, here we are, let's get married? No, that's not what happened. He doesn't actually know what happened, which is mind-blowing to me. And Ryan keeps her main goal in her head the entire time of wanting to escape. She doesn't want to stay here. She doesn't want to live in this mansion, which I think is kind of mind-boggling because of the entire situation that the world is in. But she does want to get back to her brother, and she does want to let her brother know that she is still alive and that she is safe. This first book, a lot of people said it was kind of slow. I didn't really think so. I thought it was very methodical and smart that Ryan didn't try to escape right away. I felt like if she would have escaped right away, she would have just got caught like she did, or she almost did during that windstorm when she tried to run away. I feel like she was more like methodical when it came to escaping. She wanted to gain Lyndon's trust. She wanted to gain Van's trust. She wanted freedom. She wanted to be the first wife that gets to leave the house and go to the extravagant parties. She wanted to be the one that gets to walk around in the garden when she wanted to. She wants to be the one with the open window. She wants to be the one that can leave the wives' floor and go to any floor that she wants to besides the basement. And she just wanted to be that wife, and she had to gain their trust to do that. And it takes time to do that. So I understood where Ryan was coming from when it was taking her so long, and I thought it was interesting. So I didn't think it was slow. I thought that was required to truly make the point of who Ryan was and how she was dealing with this. While Ryan's main goal is obviously to get out of this mansion and to find her twin brother and get back home, she doesn't actually have feelings for Lyndon, or not the same that he does for her. She does actually start getting feelings for someone else, and that's Gabriel, a house server maid man, slave guy. He works for Van, and he kind of I think he works with the horses, and he brings Ryan food, and he's just a house worker. He's always there. He's a house worker. He's young. He's about her age, I think, maybe a year older or something like that. But she starts to have feelings for him, and it's kind of obvious, I think, and I think even Lyndon knows as well, but he doesn't really come and say anything out loud to her, but I think he does. She kind of carries on this secret relationship throughout most of the book, up until the end when Gabriel and Ryan actually agree to run away together. And they do, and they escape. So I really enjoyed Withered. I thought it was a really good book. I like the idea that this world, people are dying at such a young age, but yet there's still the first generation living and existing, and they're over 100 years old, and yet no one knows how to cure any of this that's going on. Completely loved it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was mind-blowing how someone could even come up with an idea like that. Completely crazy. Loved it. Loved Ryan. Thought she was smart. Thought she was strong. Love strong leading female characters that don't dumb themselves down for boys or let the boy all of a sudden take the main role, which I liked. Gabriel was a co-character. He wasn't the main character, and he stayed that way throughout the entire first book, and I liked it. Since I am reviewing a trilogy, I don't want to give too much away from the second and third book, but I'll just give you the gist of things. In the second book, Fever, Ryan and Gabriel just escaped, and they actually run into this carnival where things go pretty bad, and it's completely like strange. These girls are actually this carnival is not like a carnival where you go with your family and you have fun and you play games and you go on rides. No, this carnival is actually a carnival of tents where these girls are basically selling their bodies to these guys, and they're getting taken care of by this older lady who runs this carnival. And Ryan and Gabriel are there for a few days, but later on they leave and continue on to their journey. When they get to Ryan's home in Manhattan, they actually find out that it's burnt down and that Rowan isn't there anymore. Ryan doesn't know what to do, so they end up going to this like child foster care place that this lady runs and has 30 kids there at a time, and she's taking care of all of them, and they stay there for a while. I don't want to go into too much detail about this, but they continue their journey on, and Van keeps following them around, and she doesn't know how this is happening, but it keeps going downhill from there. Fever, I think, was one of my favorite books because of Gabriel. He was so nice to her, and he was like, he knew what Ryan was going through when she was like snatched off the street and forced to marry this guy. So I thought it was really nice to see how slow he was going with her. Yet, even though they were going through this complete struggle and complete battle, and that they were both running away from what like they would consider their own personal hell. So definitely interesting. I would have to say that Wither, if I had to pick between these two, Wither would definitely still be my number one, but this was an amazing second installment. Definitely no second book syndrome. So good. Sever is the third and final book in the Chemical Garden Trilogy. This book definitely takes the cake. The ending is completely mind-blowing. I would have never seen it coming. It just threw me off, but yet it was perfect. I would have never expected it. The character who does this big change, like you would never expect it from him. I never saw it coming. It was mind-blowing. Things that I really enjoyed about this one was the ending, obviously. Meeting Rowan for the first time. You hear so many stories and so many memories from Ryan about her brother and how great he was and how much he means to her, but yet we don't get to meet him till about halfway through this book, which like so much build up. Like I wanted to meet him finally, and I felt like I already knew him even though I've never met him before. So I was definitely excited to see him, and I definitely liked him a lot, even though he didn't know what was coming for him, and that all goes with the twist at the end. So yeah, this was a good one. I thought this was so intense. I thought it was brave the way Lauren DeStefano handled the Lyndon situation that I don't want to talk about. And definitely a good ending to this trilogy. So good. I mean, there were so many things that happened in this book that I had no clue was coming at me. Like I was dipping, dodging, diving, ducking, and everything, and still it was just coming at me and hitting me, and it was good. It was so good. If you haven't picked, I love the covers. If the covers don't suck you in, then I don't know. You need to read the synopsis, or you need to read some reviews. I'll have my reviews that are on my blog linked down below. As always, linked down below. There I'm kind of going into more detail about things, and I can collect my thoughts much more than I can with a video. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm still working on how to review a book on video and little minor details like that. So if this video was a little bit long or a little bit confusing, then feel free to leave a few suggestions down below. I'm basically open to any suggestions because as of right now, I'm still kind of working through stuff like that. And yeah, thank you for watching.